Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Hope Shot and welcome to the first ladies' night. What? I know all of us are super excited, and it's going to be really cool, really interesting. We're going to enjoy going with the flow and seeing what us ladies have to come talk about. So we'll start off, of course, with Mrs. Kelly.
Mrs. Kelly, that kind of makes me feel old. Justin, before he pops on, though, we need to say, please don't forget to share this. Make sure you guys are sharing this. We would really appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to start with our clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family.
Yeah.
Yay. You want to go, Tiff?
Yeah, we got Katie. Hey, Katie. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Helen. Hey, Pam. And everybody is saying Happy Mother's Day. Hey, Gina. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, we got lots of Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there as well. That's actually been the topic a little bit behind the scenes before we popped on here, was Mother's Day and the different feelings that all of us mothers are going through today. So I think that kind of kicks off. Rachel, I'll let you kind of start with what we were chatting about.
Hi, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is kind of like a hard day for me and a good day all in one. And that's kind of where I wanted to start talking about like the journey that I've been on with my kids and healing the relationship with my kids. I remember when I first came in to the rooms, like, you know, I knew I was done and I knew that I was different and I knew that I was willing to go to any lengths. And, you know, I almost wanted to rush the process. Like my kids almost, I had expectations of how they would view that, you know? And so like early on, you know, I got disappointed a lot, or I tried to rush ahead and like, you know, exert my will a lot into the equation because it's hard. You know, like all those years I was out using, you know, I didn't feel all that pain, and I didn't think about my children, you know, and what they were going through and the pain that they were carrying, not knowing where I was and if I was alive or okay, or, you know, I just knew I was back and I wanted my kids back, you know. And I think for some reason, we don't talk about it a lot as women and mothers, you know, the guilt and shame and the things that we still carry when we get clean, when we have to face down the things that went on while we were on drugs. You know, like my kids went through a lot. Like they carried a lot of pain and saw things they never should have seen, you know. And it wasn't ever because I didn't love my kids. You know what I mean? I just didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to get better. And so like I have these 3 kids that are freaking amazing though. You know what I mean? And like I can tell you that they have taught me more about like living spiritual principles than anybody even in the rooms. Like just the depth of their compassion and empathy and forgiveness, you know, like they taught me how to slow down and just to rest in like a mother's love for her children and a children's love for their mother is not something that ever goes away, you know. And today was hard for more people than just me. Like I know people that have lost their mothers, you know, and are facing their first Mother's Day without their mothers and doing it clean, you know. And like there's all these kids in my life that I love like my own that are giving me a little window into what my children went through when I was gone because their moms aren't around, you know. And so Mother's Day is a hard day for them. And I watch all these people like feel it, and all these feelings suck, dude. They suck. You know what I mean? Like, but like if we're feeling it and we're hurting, we're processing it. And that's where the healing comes. And like one thing I learned through this whole process, and it took a long time to even put my own walls down to let my children back in, because it was really a painful thing for all of us. And I'm grateful that my kids have this grandmother that has stepped up and has been their constant all their lives when I wasn't there. And like, it's almost weird for me now on Mother's Day to insert myself, you know, they'd be like, well, it's Mother's Day, I want to see my kids, so I just let it ride. You know what I mean? It's just, at the end of the day, it's just another day. And, you know, like, we are healing and we're growing at the pace that we need to be, you know, and I get to have these beautiful moments with them when they happen. And I'm grateful for that. It's just still a process where I'm trying to forgive myself. Like, my kids have forgiven me, you know, like, they honestly don't punish me for those things, and they try to give me so much grace. And it's just a process of learning how to make peace with the things that I have done, and that my kids had to grow beyond their years, you know, and carry such a weight. And so, like, I handle that by, you know, staying clean no matter what, you know, like, because they finally have this hope where, you know, their mom has over 2 years clean, and they can see the proof of the program in the way that I live and the way that I handle life when things come up, and the way that I'm able to, you know, make peace with their grandmother, because we had, you know, tumultuous history, because it's what's best for my children. You know what I mean? It's no longer just about me having it my way when I want it my way because I want my children with me. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's about, you know, keeping them stable and happy and smiling and cared for, and having all of these people in their lives to love. And, you know, today could have been like, I could have allowed it to beat me that I didn't see my kids or I didn't spend time with my kids, but it's all really about perspective, I feel like. And so I made a very conscious effort to try to keep my perspective positive, you know, because I have these beautiful children and these beautiful moments with them. And I know, like, the healing that we've experienced in these past 2 years alone is amazing. And the healing power of my recovery has touched so many hearts beyond mine, you know, within my family, within my children, and it just keeps spreading out. And, like, you know, that's where I choose to put my focus when that fear bully and all those negative things try to latch on to me to hold me back into that cell, that prison. You know what I mean? Like, I choose to focus on, I might not have everything where I want it to be, but it's exactly the way my higher power wants it to be, and it's doing exactly what's intended. And I just want to say to, like new ladies coming in that are facing that struggle, like trying to get clean without their kids, or, you know, that's something that keeps a lot of women from getting clean or staying clean. And, like, I would just love to encourage women to do it first and foremost for them. And when you do that, like, miracles start to spread out from you. And it's just beautiful. That's what I got on that.
Oh, I love it, Rachel. Yes, happy Mother's Day. Exactly. Hey, Jamie and Shannon and Melissa. Hey, Bodie. Thank you. Everybody saying happy Mother's Day. Lisa, do you want to go next, or Kelly, or Sarah?
So
yeah,
I can talk.
well, go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead, Kelly.
No,
I just go ahead. You go.
Are you sure? No, so we kind of switched up the talk. We were talking about a lot of things before we came live. So we were backstage talking about what should we talk about. It's Mother's Day. You know, not all of us are mothers. And I think the reason why we decided to have, it just so happened that it was on Mother's Day. It seemed like a good time to have it for a ladies' night, is just because I think for me, even though my healing and my recovery, like with my husband and the other men, it does mirror a little bit, and we do have some of the same struggles. For me, like, I don't always relate 100%. A lot of my struggles came from trauma, came from sexual assault, came from, you know, I had all these experiences that, Rachel, you said it beautifully, we have to heal from. And for me, my daughter was small. She was 2.5 when I found recovery. So she doesn't remember a lot of it. But I think the beauty of it is as I'm healing from these things, like, she doesn't have to go through some of these things, right? She has these socio-emotional skills. She has this awareness that I didn't have. So for me, the beauty of Mother's Day is, you know, knowing that, and she might not, but the next generation doesn't have to go through some of these things. And then she can, I feel like we always do a little bit better than the last generation, right? Like, my parents did the best they could, and I'm sure their parents did the best they could. But I feel like it's my job as a mom to kind of teach my daughter, you know, better than what I was given or what you know, what I had. So I don't know. That's the beauty of Mother's Day for me. Like I said, Maya was pretty small. She doesn't remember it. Thank God. Thank God. She, you know, she has no memory, but of when I was a mess. But yeah, that's what I have right now.
Do you want to? Oh, I didn't know if you were going to read anything or.
We can do this. We can read. I want to read some of
All right.
these. Shannon says,
Yeah.
hello, beautiful people. Happy Mother's Day. I don't know if is Justin sharing the comments. My sister. Today I'm 14 months clean. Ooh, good job. Woohoo. Keep coming back. Glad you're here. Love you, ladies. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, hi, Erin.
Oh, Laura's on. I talked to her earlier. I hope you're doing well, Laura. Hey, so I guess I'm on, right? So, well, first off, happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there. Like Rachel, like I was tearing up when you were talking because God, this is a super hard topic for me. Okay, let me just, okay.
It's okay. I think a lot of us are feeling that today.
Okay, let me just breathe really fast. Okay, I just want to get it out. Okay, so I absolutely love to see women get their children back and mend their relationships and thrive. It's something that I adore, and it's almost like fantasy for me, because it's something that I wish would happen. The last time I saw my son was when he was 11, almost 10 years ago. And, it's like this, it's like I wonder what he's like today, And the forgiveness and all that stuff that I try to, that I try to do for myself. And it's like there's always that shame, there's always that guilt, there's always that God, why couldn't I have done this sooner? Same for my mom passed away when I was in my addiction, so she never got to me sober. And that's something that's that's really hard. I'm scrolling through Facebook all day and I see all these pictures of people with their moms, and I'm I love it, but at the same time it's the hardest thing in the world, because the last one I had with my mom was probably when I was right after high school. I was so distant from my family because I was so deep in my addiction that there was no connection. I only reached out to my family for stuff and for things and for money. So that connection to my mom, I feel like it's stronger now that I'm sober and that I'm closer to God and her. It's almost surreal that I have a closer connection with her now. I mean, of course, when I was little, but I could feel her more now. She had to block me off when I was using, but that inner struggle I have with the disconnection of my son, that's something that that I deal with on a daily basis. Just when I think something is gonna happen, that we're gonna mend a relationship or something, I get pushed 3 steps back. And I know it's not my timing. I know this, and I have faith, and I know that it's going to happen when it's supposed to, if it's supposed to happen. I just know I have to continue to do what I'm doing and continue to help other people. Today, I was not feeling today at all. I told Johnny, I'm I hate Mother's Day. It's just, I don't hate it. I just I don't I don't like being in it today because I'm not like where I want to be, but I am, but as a mother, I guess you could say. Um, and that's something that, that's one of those things in my addiction that I do regret, you know. We always say like I don't regret anything. That's something I do freaking regret, you know. So I got out of myself today and I went to a treatment center and I hung out with some women, and I talked to them about what they're going through, and and that took me out of my own emotions, and that helped me like not think about poor me, you know. And that's what I do today. I try to like help other people. That's how I deal with things. I talk to God, and I do this. I cry on TV. So but yeah, so that's where I'm at with that right now, but I'm sure I'll talk more about it later. Yeah.
I think Lisa, you're getting so much support in the chat. I don't know who's sharing the comments, but everybody is saying that they love you. And I think I know you were struggling with sharing that, but I think you just shared the most relatable thing, like this is what we do, and we do it because we can help others through it. And you can see by the comments that you are. Oh, some of these comments.
Yeah. Nathan.
Oh, Nate, just so you know, Lisa, when I'm struggling thinking about my daughter, I look up to you, who's handled it with grace and integrity. Mother's Day is super hard for me as well, but I do feel closer than ever with my mom, even though she's gone. Thank you for showing me we can get through anything in recovery. That right there.
I love you, Nate.
You don't try and help other people. You don't try and help other people. You do help other people. Love you. Yeah. And then Helen, Mother's Day is bittersweet for me. Lost my mom the day before Mother's, but I also lost my son. I have 2 living children, and I have to put the pain aside for them. Emotions can be such a struggle. Yeah. Your tears and heart are so beautiful. Praying for a miracle of reconciliation for you and your son. Yeah, I think whole crybaby right here too. Love you. Thank you. There's no shame in crying. I just have to say that. I cry all the time. Huge facts, Gerald. Thank you, everybody, for leaving those supportive comments.
Yeah. I love you all. Gosh.
Lisa, you have me crying over here.
I know. I just knew it was going to happen. I knew it. When I started tearing up when Rachel was talking, I'm like, oh boy, here it goes. And so that's why I was like, Kelly, you go ahead. You're good.
Listen, I'm shaking through it too. It's just a day.
Yeah.
So I can, I guess, share my piece on the mother's thing. I deal with it in a little bit of a different fashion because my first daughter, Marissa, I had when I was very young. And then when I went through my area of addiction, she wasn't living with me. She was living with her father. And honestly, from the start of her life till now, we always had extra help because we were so young. We had my mom and his mom. And again, Mother's Day brings up all the feelings and reminiscing on how much our parents did for us through her life. And this is actually the first Mother's Day that my ex-husband has to go without Marissa's, his mom. And like, I'm thankful, for everything that they did. And with Marissa, honestly, my mom and his mom were Marissa's moms. Like, we were her parents and she knew that, but like, who was actually doing the raising part of it? It was them, and even to this day with Marissa, I have a lot of those same shame and guilt things that I fight with, that like I honestly just give it to God. I have to, right? Because with Marissa, like, I feel so much shame and guilt because of the things that I did when it kind of put a separation between us because of what I was doing. And when she would come and visit us on my timeshare with her, it was like she did get glimpses of it. And, so today I'm thankful that, she doesn't have to see me that way anymore. I've had to have those hard conversations with her where she has shared with me that she remembers slightly, and she's thankful for who we are today. So that's exciting, I guess. I mean, it is exciting. It's a lot. There's so many emotions, like you brought up, Rachel. Like there's just so many deep emotions that like I try not to think about it, to be honest, because I don't want to feel those feelings. And then of course I have Jalen and Jason. Like you said, I personally try not to think of all of the moments. They were very young, like Kelly, you said, where they were, I think Jalen was what? Anyways, they were young. And so I don't feel like they'll ever remember it, but it's like I remember it. And my shame and guilt of those moments, I just try to like today tell myself at least they'll never see me that way again. Yet, as long as just for today, I keep my feet on the ground and do the right next thing. And that's all I can focus on and enjoy their smiles and their laughter today in a whole new way. Yeah, that's Mother's Day is hard today for me personally because my daughter Marissa did call and she was saying, she was sharing with me the pain of the first Mother's Day without her nanny. And it's hard because like you said, Rachel, it's weird inserting myself because Nani was her mom, and like, yeah, I'm her mom, but like Nani was her mom. Nani was her entire everything and taught her everything. And like trying to sit there and be there for her. And like, and then she even said it, and she's so beautiful. She even said it. She's like, I'm sorry. Happy Mother's Day to you too, Mom. Like, I love you. And like, it was like one of those moments where like, it was awkward and like, but I just had to be there for her. And I was, and I'm thankful, but like, it was like, I felt like I was overstepping or like, all I could do is just sit there and be, and listen to her because she was sharing her pain with me and what was going on in her home, and the pain that they're feeling today. And like you said, like if this is your first Mother's Day without your mother or without, some of you and your children, and like my heart goes out to you because it's been interesting today sitting in my feelings. And Lisa, I didn't get out and go get outside of self, which I probably should have, to be honest. It's been a really weird emotional day. So I love you ladies. Happy Mother's Day. I'm gonna pass it off to Sarah.
Hey everyone. I want to say, first of all, like, this is the thing about recovery that is so beautiful to me is like the space where we get to take our masks off and talk about like what's really going on, to have like these communities where you don't have to tell everyone you're fine when you're not. I love that and think that it's so beautiful. I love just like raw honesty, and hope that like I can always be this space where we can continue to cultivate, talking about how we actually feel, because I just think that stuff is so important. And I think sometimes we like shame ourselves based off the emotions that we're feeling. And, I try not to put too much weight in that. I try to just feel what I'm feeling and recognize that, it's basically energy that has to pass through my body, instead of having to intellectualize it or, shame myself or guilt myself for feeling what I'm feeling. So I am not a mother, and this is actually, I'm in my 30s, and most of my friends I call them my mom friends, and I think they're all like superheroes and they amaze me, and a lot of them are single mothers, and I don't know how they do it, or why they do it sometimes. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. She has 5 children. I had just gotten back. I'd used my vacation time to go to the Keys, and she was using her vacation time to take 5 children to the dentist. And I was like, oh my God, that's just awful. But anyways, so if you're not a mom, hello, hi, I'm your gal. But okay, so my grandmother hung the moon, right? Like true matriarch. She was the glue that held our family together. And when she got sick and had cancer, I was really strung out. And I would go to her house and steal her pain pills and be dope sick on her couch while she was going through chemo. And she was actually dying, right? And I just felt like I was dying. And she would be worried about me. And for a long time, I carried a tremendous amount of guilt about that, like well into my sobriety. And it took like a lot of layers. It took like some direct amends to some of my family members. It took, you know, a lot of writing, a lot of prayer to get to a place like Nate and Lisa were talking about, where like I felt spiritually connected to her in like a new way. And like I could get into all the woo woo stuff about that, but you know, I do a lot of stuff to like honor her now because like I know she's in my corner, like I know she's in my team. So my living amends, the way that I make restitution for my behavior towards my grandmother when she was alive, is that I take care of her child, my mother. So that is the way that I try to make that right. So my mom told me today, I had her over for lunch and like I made this nice thing and I got flowers and a card and baked and did a whole thing. And after lunch, she was sitting there talking to me and she told me, so I'm from North Carolina and I came to Florida to get sober 6 years ago. And my family was all back home. And my mom lives here now. And, you know, to me, like looking back on how that happened, it was a natural progression. She had some health issues. I was going up there and eventually she just moved down here. And that's the way I've always like played that out in my mind, right? She's been here for, I think, going on 3 years now. So what she told me today was something that I was not even aware of. And that was, I was probably 2 years sober and she was spending Mother's Day alone because my brother was in California and I was down here in Florida. And she had gone to church and she tried to find some people to have lunch with. And she ended up like at a restaurant by herself. And she was super sad and it was a really hard time for her. And you know, she'd had like the shock of dealing with my addiction and my brother's wildness. And I guess I called her and I said, you know, Mom, if you come down here, you never have to spend another holiday alone. And so she did. And like, I didn't know that that was like how she ended up here. Like I didn't even, it wasn't even on my radar until today. And like, what a testimony, you know, like what a testament to like mother's love. Like that stuff is unconditional, man. You know, it's like one passing comment on the phone and she uproots her whole life and comes down here. And what has happened for me. So like the main reason that I don't have children is that I had this plan, right? Like I'm type A, this is what I'm doing. And then afterwards we'll revisit children another time. But I'm getting ready to go to law school and like I'm busy and I can't be bothered. So never mind. But I was getting ready to say, thank God for birth control. But so anyways, I say all that to say like, I know that this journey is different for a lot of people, right? And like one of the most amazing gifts that I've received is being able to cultivate these relationships inside and outside of recovery with women. And some of those women I'm related to. And, you know, to be able to like understand and relate and connect to women on another level is, you know, just an irreplaceable, priceless gift to me. So, also, I did want to make sure that I said this just in case I forget later. To the mothers who have angel babies, I just wanted to wish you a happy Mother's Day too. I don't know that enough of that gets talked about sometimes. I also know that like just from the time that I've been here in recovery, I've seen incredible miracles happen all over the place, especially for mothers. I've seen women that had signed their children away permanently that get them back multiple times. I've seen that many times. I've seen people successfully complete case plans and become mothers again and open their doors up to other children. it's just kind of like the possibilities are endless if you just stay sober. And so I think that's all I have right now.
Sarah, I'm so glad you brought that up because, like you said, I've seen that happen and it is like the most glorious thing. And I think that's what's so cool in recovery is truthfully that, like, just so many things that we think are impossible seriously become possible the moment we just keep putting the right next foot forward and stay in recovery. I'm going to go ahead and read some of these comments because we have quite a few. Got lots of love, of course, and Melissa shares that her youngest son is not full-time with me. I have a supportive family. I'm still focused on my recovery, and it's working for Brady, my son, because he's adapted and is thriving. I'd be really selfish taking him from his grandma. And then we have Gerald. I know exactly how you feel, and you have grandparents raising your children because you're not in a position to physically and mentally and emotionally. It's tough to come to terms with how much they have done for us in our addiction. The ones that are looking enough to have parents to care for their children, through their addiction. Huge facts for me. Was a very humbling experience. I totally understand that guilt and shame over not being the parents that we should be, but like recovery teaches. Yes, exactly. We have Bodie asks us a question. He says, my friend is going through tough times with his mother. He is clean and sober now for a year, but his mother was drunk. Is there anything I can help him? Suggestions? Does anybody have something?
I'm trying to read it again. My friend is going through tough times with his mother. He is clean, but his mother was drunk. I mean, I would tell Bodie, his friend has to first and foremost focus on his recovery. And I mean, I don't know if his friend has to, live with that parent or, what's going on there. But my biggest advice is to focus on your recovery. And we pray for the people who are sick, right? That's got to be tough though, for sure. Having a parent who, now that he is in recovery, seeing that person suffer, seeing that parent suffer. I think somebody, yep, Al-Anon, there you go. Al-Anon's a great.
I have a suggestion. I have a suggestion. So I don't know if this person lived with the parents, but definitely look into sober houses. Maybe getting out of the parents' house. If you're taking your recovery seriously, you'll do anything and everything to keep it. So look into some sober houses.
Absolutely.
That's just a
Yeah.
It's a whole different level of hard if you're living with that parent too, definitely.
Right. Yeah. Helen shared to exactly walk by example for his mom and to go to Al-Anon to help for himself because there's other people there, of course, that can share and help. Let's see. We have Debbie. Hey, Debbie. Happy Mother's Day. And she says, this conversation is so authentic and honest. I've been sober for almost 30 years by God's grace. As a mom of 2 young adults who have battled their own emotional challenges, even though my kids never saw me actively using, I still had so much guilt today, so many emotions. By the grace of God, both my kids woke up this morning. I woke up this morning. And even though there were a lot of tears, there was so much to be grateful for.
Listen, I can completely relate to that. Like Maya was, and Emma wasn't in my life yet, but she was 2.5 when I got sober, but the guilt is real. That doesn't mean that I don't remember the times that my mom had to get up and, help with everything, that I didn't have a house to live in. Like the guilt and shame is still real. And it's an active thing that I work on every single day. It's hard to talk about. It's hard.
Yeah, definitely. And this kind of follows nicely. We have Gerald. He said, through my addiction and many, many counselors and programs, I've learned that I was taught that it's okay to feel the way you feel because that is how you feel. Never be ashamed of that. Through my addiction, I was always ashamed of the things that I did and the people that I harmed to my addiction, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. But like I said before, recovery is possible. And I'm grateful for every day. But I've been sober. Love and respect, Gerald.
I'm so proud of you, Jerry. Like, I can't even express that enough. I'm just so proud of you and how far you've come. Like, we go way back, and just to see like where he's at today is like such a blessing. It's so amazing.
We have Missy. Happy Mother's Day.
Hey, Missy, that's my little bestie.
Oh, hi,
She's
Missy.
watching.
And then we have Donna. Hey, Donna. And
Get to
Helen.
go play with Donna tomorrow.
Whoa. And then we have Helen. My biggest regret in life is that I didn't find this program when my kids were young.
But you found it.
Right.
You found it.
I think that's something that gets talked about a lot in my corner with some people is that, you know, because they have some older teenagers, you know, that had been through the hell of it all, right? And then as teenagers, they get to kind of see the switch, right? But then, of course, there's all the different emotions and the different conversations that have to get had to kind of move through and past that. And that's hard. But hey, like Kelly said, we found recovery, and at least we get the chance to live a different way, and they get to see that you can change.
If anybody has any questions or anything like that, put them in the chat too. If anybody's struggling or just needs help with anything, definitely put it in the chat.
Melissa says, don't live with regret. You're showing your kids how to get back up, and that's a blessing. Yes.
Yeah. You know what I was going to say about this too? Like a lot of people have different thoughts on this. My daughter has grown up going to 12-step meetings, and, you know, some people will bring their kids. Some people don't talk about it. That's something like, you know, we didn't talk, my parents and I'm just generations before us in general kind of didn't talk about those things. My daughter knows all about, you know, what mental health is. And she knows, I always say, like, they're like, how do you explain it to her? She's seen since she was little that mom has a community first and foremost. And, you know, mom goes to this community, and anytime I'm struggling, I reach out, and that community helps. That was something that, you know, we swept our struggles under the rug. Right. So even just seeing somebody reach out and say, you know, hey, I'm struggling, I need help, and seeing these people, she knows that she can turn to a group of people, that they're, you know, that it's not, there's no shame in it. And to me, that's a beautiful thing in and of itself, that she knows how to reach out for help, and that it's okay to ask for it. Like, that was one of the hardest things for me.
I think it's great you bring that up, Kelly, honestly, because that's a comment that my daughter had made to us when she was here, that she said that she finds it she's in awe of the fact that, like, when Justin or I need help with anything, we can make a couple phone calls and somebody's going to be like, I got you. And she was like, I don't understand it. And it's really cool to see and experience. And I didn't really think of it that way, Kelly, that like it's creating that experience in her mind where, hey, it's okay to reach out and ask for help.
Yeah. Okay to reach out for help. And having the knowledge that, you know, mental health is a real thing, and that addiction is a real thing. Of course, I've always explained it to her on her level. As she's gotten a little bit older, she's asked kind of new questions, but just, you know, knowing what it is. I had no idea. I had anxiety from the time, probably from the time I was born, but I can recall it at like 4 and 5 years old. I didn't know why it manifested physically. And she knows how to say that she's feeling a certain emotion, like she can vocalize it, you know what I mean? Like, even just those tiny little things that she learned to, you know, grew up learning how to do, I think is, for me, has been helpful.
Yeah. It's powerful. Let's see. We have, Bodhi said no, he lives by himself. We have Phil Tyler. Happy Mother's Day with Against the Odds. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. God bless you all. Right back at you. I know it's a hard Mother's Day, I'm sure, for you. My prayers and love and hugs are with you, because I know you've been through it lately. Jamie suggests programs and prayer for you, Bodhi, for your friend. Shannon says, I had regrets that I hadn't gotten clean and sober before my son went off to the military. Never thought I could make it up to him. So glad I didn't give up before miracles started happening. Not only are my son and I roommates today, and I get to make living amends on a daily, but I have a baby that never has to see me messed up. Miracles happen in recovery.
Amen.
Yes. Let's see. And then we got Mrs. Julie. We have, today is my first time attending Liberation Church. I'm 4 years clean, but I never thought I would have a bond with my kids ever again, more or less go to church with them. I feel so blessed to attend church with my youngest daughter. I cried because I have never because I have never-ending guilt in me. I went to the altar to pray that our bond becomes stronger. I'm so thankfully God led me to these doors today. God bless liberation. Yes, I can relate to that for myself. I know when I go to church and I lay it all down, I choose God as my higher power, and the freedom that I receive in laying it all down, turning it all over to God. I mean, I can't even explain the freedom and greatness I feel from it. So I'm with you, Julie. That is amazing. I'm glad you got to experience that with your kids. And then we have Miss Donna. My oldest was 5 when I got older. Went to a gazillion meetings. He ended up abusing substances and died. I was sober 2 years when my youngest was born. He's never seen us use, but lived through his brother's addiction. It's a family disease. Donna, I'm so sorry that you've had to go through that, but I'm so thankful that you're clean today and that you're a walking example.
Love you, Donna.
Donna is a prime example of just what it takes to get through tragedy in sobriety. She is a powerhouse. I absolutely love her. Love her. She actually stepped into like my life when I first came here. I think I've like shared this story before. I remember when I first went to my first meeting. I was before I ever went to detox, and I got out of the car, and like there was a group of guys and a group of girls, and I was just standing there like, scared, because I was a scared little girl trapped in this body, right? And like I didn't know what to do. I was standing behind Johnny, and like she came over and like grabbed me from behind on my shoulders and just like walked me over to where the women were and said, "You belong over here, honey." And it was like the first time that I actually like felt a part of, because like my whole life I didn't like women for no reason whatsoever. I thought they were me, just like me. So of course I didn't like them because I didn't like myself. So like it was the first time I actually felt like I was part of a group that like accepted me, and I will never ever to the day I die forget that. That was the first time, that was the first gracious, selfless act someone did for me when I came here. Yeah. Oh, I love you, Donna. God.
Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about on our ladies' night?
Rachel's been quiet.
Literally, my brain was saying, I know Keegan's got something else to say, man. She does. And it's so powerful.
I feel like we can talk about what Kelly had brought up earlier about, as women first coming into the rooms, I feel like that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. And I watched I know when I came in a lot like Kelly with, sexual assault trauma. I was traumatized, and, I didn't trust women, but I couldn't trust the men either. You know what I mean? So like, it was really difficult at first to feel safe, first of all. But it's hard to say, but I feel like in so many ways that rock bottom where I was sexually assaulted was like a huge gift for me getting clean, because I had a lot of issues where like, yeah, I'll put the drugs down, but I'll start, messing around with guys and like just pick up another facet of my disease in that aspect. And so like that got shut down for me. Like I didn't want to go near the men, and I don't feel like they felt very safe approaching me, because I was, I did threaten to stab a few if they got too close. And so like I was forced to find a way to connect with women, and again, I was blessed because at one of my very first meetings, my wifey Kenzie was there across the meeting, and like I had known her from before, and just seeing her there was like a massive hope shot, like because she was as big of a mess as I was out there, and she was standing there clean. So I kind of gravitated towards her and, like really just put myself next to her because I watched her go into the meetings and I felt safe with her, and like through that process of walking through that fear and that insecurity of being around women because we don't trust women. None of us do when we first come in. I don't feel like, I'll speak for myself, I guess, but like, we know we were all doing each other so dirty in our disease that like, we don't trust other women. And I can honestly say like walking through the fear of that and like bonding with the women, like, and meeting people where they are and allowing them to like love me where I was, because I was a lot in the beginning. Like it taught me so much because whenever I would stumble or I would have a hard moment, it was the women that were there to pick me up. You know what I mean? Like I was blessed to have so many strong women around me, like Kelly, like that Kelly, like just never, ever, ever, ever gave up hope on me, no matter how many times I would call her when I was still using and be like, I'm ready, and then not ready. And then, and like that mattered when I finally got clean and clear-minded. And I look back at how much effort she had put in all those times to try to, reach her hand back for me. Like I started to relax and trust women. And I have some of the most beautiful bonds in my life with women today, like it's the women that are always there. It's the women that, when I don't know how to get through something, I look to the women. Now I'm going to say I have amazing bonds with some pretty incredible men today too. Like, and it's those rare few men in the rooms that, love and respect me as a sister and have never been anything more than a brother, that have taught me I can trust men and I can trust my own judgment around who is a safe man and who is not a safe man. Because all of these men that I have in my life have proven to me that they're safe men, and like that right there is just powerful healing, like I didn't think I would ever be able to be near people again without having such a heightened state of awareness and always being on my guard, and like today I have moments where I could just breathe. Like I have people in my life that I feel completely comfortable turning my back and closing my eyes and I know I don't have to worry, like, and that's priceless. That's priceless. And I'm just really grateful that, when all those fearful moments come up and all those things that fear tries to attack and prevent me from walking through and finding, I found courage and pushed through that, because on the other side of the fear is the most beautiful blessings I found in recovery, and I am just really grateful. That's all I got.
And I'll say too, so it's still hard for me to talk about some of that trauma that I went through, but I want to say this for any women who might be here that are new. And so if you're going to whatever facet of recovery you're in, the meetings are a part of it, but there is no shame. And in fact, I encourage reaching out to a professional, a counselor, because I had to do a recovery, the 12-step meetings, and my fellowship group was a piece of the pie. I had to go through intensive counseling, and I had mental health diagnoses. I had to take mental health medication. Like there's a whole spectrum to this, to recovering from this, right? Like to healing in general. And I want to throw that out there too, because, and we bounced it back and forth before we went live, like, should we talk about this? Should we not talk about this? But these are experiences that a lot of us have. I know I had it, so I feel like it's worthy of bringing up, even if we are live, even if we are talking to, a bigger audience. It's hard. It's definitely hard still 7 years in for me to talk about some of this, but if you don't feel safe doing it in a meeting or with a sponsor, there's counselors, there's therapists. Please, reach out to one of those as well.
I'll piggyback off that real quick. So I think I reached a period of my recovery where I maybe would not have been able to stay in recovery had I not sought outside help for some of the things that were going on with me mentally and emotionally. And it took working with a therapist, and it took mental health diagnoses and all of that. Because a lot of us are self-medicating, so yeah, I did want to say that for me, it was, I had to seek outside help about things, and like just not having shame about that. I don't know. I wish we would normalize therapy, because it's like, I work in psych, so it's a little easier for me, but like, you know, we can go to the doctor for our neck down and that's fine. There's no issues, but like, God forbid we have to go for a neck up, you know, it's like something we're not supposed to talk about. And I just don't get that. I don't think there should be any shame about it. It's really brave to be scared and do things anyway.
Yeah, God forbid we have to go to a doctor for the organ that controls the rest of our body. Like,
so true. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna read a couple more of these, and then I mean, unless there's anything else, I think we can close up for our first ladies' night. We have Missy Thang. She said, "Happy Mother's Day, ladies. Happy Mother's Day to you too, Missy." We have Mrs. Kimberly. Thank you so much for sharing. She said, "Happy to see we're going live, ladies." Shannon, we love you. Mr. Steve. Hey, Steve. I love you guys. Happy Mother's Day.
those are some certifications behind that name. I don't know him, but I'm like, MBA, CAP. Yeah, okay, you go.
He's awesome. He's awesome. Oh my goodness. And then Helen, isn't it amazing that we have all suffered in some way, but yet from the grace of God, we are all here tonight, clean and sober, sharing about it. Amen. Yes, Helen, it's my favorite part. I think I can honestly say, like, Lisa and Rachel kind of touched base on, you know, there was a long time where I didn't know who or what I could trust. And I think the most beautiful thing that I've found in recovery is the solid relationships and trust that I get to have with other women. I don't have to worry about anything because we're clean and sober. Let's see. We have, sorry, give me a second. I lost my spot. Let's see. We have Shannon. So proud of you. And we have Kimberly. Gots to have boundaries and get to real healthy, like keep staying open and honest about all of it. Rachel Keegan, you pulled me out of my mess. You were my safety because of the years I've known you. You put your recovery at risk to come save my life.
Oh, I love it.
Those are the things, Rachel. You're amazing.
Seeing that chain link, those links together, like reaching out your hand for the next person. Like every time Rachel talks about me not giving up on her, I'm like crying. Like I can't keep my emotions together. And then Melissa, oh, I love it.
Beautiful. Anyone can fall. We can't think that someone won't. I forget what we were talking about, what that might be on. But yeah, that's why I have a friend. She said there's always that word yet. You add the word yet to the end of it. And it clicked for me. I'm like, just for today, right? Thanks, Rachel. And we have Donna, the longer you stay sober, the more is revealed. And we have Missy. Hey, y'all, popping in to support and just say I'm proud of all of you. Keep talking and end the stigma. My first contribution share to end stigma. The hardest things I've experienced is seeing your child lose a relationship with a parent to addiction. It takes a mental toll on the child, feeling less than important. Secondly, seeing firsthand a child dabble in substance misuse. The anxiety is just poop for the parent, and the what if it happens again is haunting. I keep preaching and praying.
I love you, Missy.
We have Jamie, love therapy. Yes. Veronica, how powerful. I was struggling bad today. I have 5 months tomorrow and almost threw it away. Thank you for not throwing it away. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. Veronica, thank you for just staying.
Veronica, and if you need any other support, reach out too. You can always message somebody from the Hope Shot. It's one of us that answers that, the little messenger app.
Yeah, you're not alone. Melissa, I started trauma therapy and I had to as well to stay sober. We have trauma support was so essential for my recovery and for my life. It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to get help. And I don't know, I wanted to say this earlier and I'll say it now. I don't know if it's just because I am around so many. I know there's still a stigma on it. I mean, we all talk about it, so there has to be, right? But it's hard for me sometimes because I am around so many women and men who believe exactly what she just said, that, you know, like it changed their lives and that it's strength. Like getting help is strength these days. And so sometimes I forget that there is still a stigma because I'm surrounded by people who don't believe it is. That don't, that see it the right way, not that way.
I think sometimes it's even, and I'll say this, and I think sometimes it's even a stigma within the recovery community, right? Like if I personally experienced it, and now if this isn't any shame on the actual 12-step program, but I think people's interpretation might lead to some people shaming it. You can't take medication. You can't, this program will solve everything. I've heard some of those things, and I think it's important to talk about it with our group of people just as much. But yeah, Tiffany, we're very fortunate to have a group of people and friends that are very open to all pathways, whatever it takes, right? We want to see you alive. We want to see you thriving. We want to see you there, coming home at night, there for your kids, whatever it takes. Doesn't have to be the way that we, the next person or I got sober or clean. It can be whatever way works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we're so lucky because we talk about that. I mean, whatever your life being manageable looks like for you, I'm all for it as long as, oh, Heidi, she says that I tried to quit many times. This time is actually working because I'm seeking outside help. 6 months. Congratulations. That is incredible.
Congratulations.
Oh, I love Steve too. And there's nothing he can do about it, Carrie. Mike, he said, Happy Mother's Day, beautiful ladies. Thank you, Mike. Happy Mother's Day to your beautiful wife. Keep coming back. It works if you want it. Keep picking yourself off. Congratulations. Yes. And then we have Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Carrie. And anything else anybody else would like to add? I mean, with that, exactly. Happy Mother's Day to all. And thank you for hanging out with us. Share this video if you can. You never know who it might help if you have a woman in your life that just wants to hear a perspective of other women on Mother's Day. We appreciate it.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
All of you.
Can I just say, Tiffany, you did great with the MC today. I just got
You really did. We all were awkward in the beginning, and then we were fine. But by the time it ended, you did great.
And I have to say thank you to the maestro. I have to say thank you to the maestro in the background for conducting it too. So
thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is it. Join us we have coming Wednesday. We are sharing Mr. Roy. He is going to be sharing his story of strength with us, and I'm super excited. I actually personally know him, and he is an incredible pillar in our community. And so I would love for you guys to come hear his story. And of course, we'll see you guys next Sunday if you want to join us from 8 o'clock. All right, bye, guys.
Love you guys, ladies.